What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dinger Dudes. It's Jackson, Chase, Andrew, and Steven. And we have a returning guest, former Miami Marlin pitcher, Justin Nicolino. Justin, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this episode. How's your day going?
It's going good. Had a good weather was good here. Had a nice little family day, so I can't complain.
That's great to hear. Now, what I want to start off with this episode with is the Pete Rose situation. Now, we know that the MLB lifted a lifetime ban off of Pete Rose, now being eligible to be elected to the Hall of Fame along with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Justin, I want to start with you.
Yep.
Being a guy who has played in the MLB, you may have a different perspective on this than us. What are your thoughts on the Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson situation?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I mean, it's hard not to have it's hard not to have the all-time hits leader and not be in the Hall of Fame, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
fathom and comprehend that because he is the all-time hits king and stuff like that. Did he screw up? Absolutely. I mean, part of it for so long too is he denied it, right? Like he denied, ever doing it, and later out it came out that he did it. But I mean, me personally, my personal belief, I think he should be in. I don't. He didn't do steroids, right? Like he didn't necessarily cheat the game. Yeah, did he do something that's like a cardinal sin? Absolutely. But I mean, when you look at all of his accolades, you look at the way he played the game. I mean, even if you weren't even around, I mean, I wasn't born yet either, like when he played, but like you always saw highlights, and it was like the way he played the game was amazing. Um, Now what, he did and betting on baseball and all this stuff and like later admitted it, it's one of those things to where it's like I think he served his time. You know what I'm saying? Like he was banned a long, long time ago, served his time, and the fact that he's never been actually I feel like appreciated around baseball in general has been kind of crazy. But I mean, me personally, I think he should be in. But obviously everyone has their own opinion. But I mean, he's the all-time hits leader. I think he should be in there for sure.
I
I
think,
oh, well, I was gonna
yeah,
say very quick, I completely agree because you see in the NFL, I feel like when it comes to, I guess, betting on yourself or betting on your team, it's not spread equally across sports. You see with Calvin Ridley, Jacksonville, or no, not Jacksonville anymore, Tennessee Titan wide receiver. He bet on himself. He bet on his team to win games, and he was only suspended for what, a season? He's probably going to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. When it comes to baseball, you have a guy who's the all-time hits leader, like in history, and you're not allowing him in the Hall of Fame. I feel like he should have been in the Hall of Fame or eligible for that when he was alive. It's just, I feel like it's just not treated equally across sports.
I think I'm on the fence about it because I absolutely see what you guys are saying because I think it is a disservice to the game of baseball to have not had the greatest hitter sitting in your Hall of Fame because I mean Pete Rose was such a generational talent and he paved the way for a lot of what we see in today's game. But I think the biggest issue is because I'm willing to bet that it absolutely kills whoever's in charge of pulling these players in and out of the Hall of Fame. I bet you it eats them alive that Pete Rose is not in there. And I bet you they want nothing more than to put him in there. But I think what the issue is they had to decide on how they want the Hall of Fame to be represented. Because it's the same exact reason why Barry Bonds is not in there. I think Barry Bonds is more of an exception than Pete Rose because a lot of other
Mhm.
players were doing what Barry Bonds was doing back in his time. So that's a different conversation in my opinion. But I think the issue with Pete Rose is because even when he was caught for it, there's that whole phase of him trying to deny it, and that spread in more controversy. And I think I think, and Pete Rose understood. That's one thing that I do respect about Pete Rose is that when he was finally caught and it finally came to light what he did, he understood the consequences and he owned up to it 100%. And I do respect Pete Rose for that. And I think, and I know that he's passed, and very sad thing to see him pass and not ever get inducted to the Hall of Fame. But I think they're just worried that if they let Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame, it's going to open the door to players down the road trying to cheat their way to do the same thing Pete Rose did, knowing that, hey, if I get caught, if Pete Rose is allowed in the Hall of Fame, then I'll be allowed in the Hall of Fame too. And I think they're just afraid of opening that door, if that makes
Huh.
sense.
No, I agree with that, but at the same time too, like I don't think his record's ever going to be broken, right? Like so,
Yeah, right.
so there's that actual like point of view because it's like you're saying it's going to open up floodgates. Yeah, it might, but at the same time too, we're talking about the all-time hits leader in Major League history that like it's never. I don't think it's ever going to be broke, right?
Sure.
So it's like
Yeah, I
I
can't disagree with that.
I think does it open floodgates for debate and stuff like that? Absolutely, but like then it comes down to like, well, what person is going to be able to debate that if you're not the all-time hits leader, you're a 17-time All-Star, all these different accolades and stuff like that. So like, I mean, I see both sides of it too, but like for
Yeah.
me, just like being an ex-baseball player and growing up and watching highlights of him and stuff like that. I mean, it's just kind of hard not to imagine him, having some type of um, integration into like some type of Hall of Fame, whether he's actually in it or just more recognized around the game of baseball more than he has been, in years past.
Jackson, I want to go back to what you said, Jackson, about how it's treated differently. The Hall of Fame aspect is treated differently across
Yeah.
sports. And I think you're absolutely right. I think MLB's Hall of Fame and their system to get in, what they allow and disallow, is more strict than anything we've seen across sports. And I respect that. The MLB are holding their players to a higher standard. And I think when if you're comparing like why Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame versus why Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame, you got to compare is what they did, is the reasons why they're not in, do they hold the same weight? You look at Barry Bonds, who, all-time home run hit reader. Personally, I give it to Hank Aaron, but that's a different argument. All-time home run leader, he's not in because of steroids, because of illegal drug use to enhance his gameplay.
See, he
Pete
had a
Rose, well, listen, hang on, listen. Hey,
he had a Hall of Fame
listen.
career before he even
Hey,
did steroids.
I know. But listen. Let me get my point across. Pete Rose isn't in because he betted against
Well,
himself when he was managing. You hear me? Okay.
now I
You not hear
can.
me? Okay.
Yeah, you cut
Yeah,
out. You
Okay.
cut out.
Sorry. I think we accidentally mute ourselves. But
sorry, I
Barry
couldn't
Bonds
hear
isn't
that
in.
nonsense.
Barry Bonds isn't in because he enhanced himself on during play. Pete Rose is in because he didn't enhance himself during
Yeah.
play. He just bet on his odds when he was managing the Reds. Now both are wrong, but Pete Rose didn't affect himself on the field. So I'm thinking of, yeah, obviously you got to punch a guy. There has to be precautions and suspensions, but can you keep him out of the Hall of Fame? Again, the all-time hits leader, and he did that cleanly. He did that perfectly clean. So is that worthy enough to be out of the Hall of Fame? And
That's a good point.
that's where I disagree. That's where I'm not thinking so.
That's
That's
what
a
my
good point.
whole thing is too, is the fact that his like betting scandal happened when he was a manager.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
didn't happen when he was a player.
Exactly.
Everything that he did in his career was completely clean in
Yep.
my book. And I feel like for me, on my end, it's too little too late when it comes to him being joined in the Hall of Fame because this after he passed away. I feel like this means a whole lot more if Pete Rose is still alive. And, there's whole other things. For me, I feel like, on the PR side when it comes to Rob Manfred, and he feel like people are going to be, excited and moved by this. For me, it's just you don't get any good vibes from me on my end because I feel like this should have happened years ago. Pete Rose, I've been fighting for Pete Rose to be in the Hall of Fame for years. He's the all-time hits leader. I feel like this does need to happen, but for me, it's like I wish it would have happened when he was still alive.
Right.
Yep.
So I want to propose a quick question before we get into I guess the all-time or the 2010s Dream Team draft. Let's act like a committee. We got I had to count 5 people, so there's going to be a majority
That's
vote.
crazy.
Yeah, that's Sesame Street
Going
math.
to be a majority vote. Hey, I'm out of college. I don't need to do math now. But raise your hand if you think
You're
Pete
still in,
Rose.
buddy. You're still,
Raise your hand if you think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, so 5 for 5. Yeah, Pete Rose, you're in the Hall
Yeah.
of Fame in the Dinger Dudes books. And so, yeah, honestly, I think Pete, I think that holds a lot of weight. The Dinger Dudes.
Hey,
I
now
bet you.
if this was Barry Bonds, I have a completely different argument.
Yeah,
I just want that to be said.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I do want to say this real quick. I know we're not talking about Barry Bonds, but Barry Bonds hit 500 home runs before he even tried steroids. So if we're being
Yeah.
honest with ourselves, he had a Hall of Fame career. If you take away the second half, if you take away his entire San Francisco Giant tenure with the Pittsburgh Pirates alone, Barry Bonds is a Hall of Famer. Oh, he muted me. I can't believe this guy.
I can't mute you.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you were doing. I thought you were saying you muted me
sorry,
because I
Mike.
was
Yeah.
talking nonsense. That's
No,
funny.
listen, and you know what? That I can understand, but and that strengthens my argument though. If you were that dominant pre-steroids, why are you on
Yeah.
the drug anyway?
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
Barry Bonds. I don't know.
well, Justin, I know we said we are only going to talk about Pete Rose, but what are your thoughts on the Barry Bonds situation? Do you think, I know you said it holds different weight when it comes to, betting on yourself, to altering your body. What do you think about the Barry Bonds situation?
I mean, he was our hitting coach in 2016. So I got to be
There
around
we
him.
go.
Yeah, I got to be around him a little bit. And regardless of the steroid use or not, like what you said, what Andrew said about, pre-Giants, I got to watch that man in the dugout, and I'm not gonna name the pitcher, but there used to be a time where Barry would stand in our dugout in Miami and stand by the bat rack, and we had a reliever that would throw, and Barry would pretty much call pitches for the pitcher to throw, and it was one of the craziest things I ever see because like however he stood in the dugout, that was the pitch that he wanted for this guy, and this guy ended up going and having an unbelievable year, and just the reason why I'm saying that is just his knowledge of the game was better than everybody's.
Yep.
Like I'm sure you guys have seen the videos where he was like, my job. Like I think he was talking with Tony Perez or I don't know, Eddie Perez, and he was like,
Hmm.
got a guy throwing he's like, I don't care if a guy's throwing 150. There's a catcher catching the ball. All I'm trying to do is catch the ball with the bat, right? So like that's just different. That's just being a different human. Um, but my whole take on it is, I mean, I think he is the all-time home runs leader, which is kind of crazy that I got to be in the dugout with that person. But he also was in an era where that's what everybody was doing steroids. Right? That was
Yep.
the time. That was a time of life in baseball that just because of who he is and the career he had, he got outed the most. Right? I'm sure there was hundreds of guys doing it. They just never got outed, or one, they never got caught, or two, they just weren't good enough to where it actually helped their accolades or anything like that.
Yep.
So I think it's one of those things to where as a baseball fan, it's just hard, right? Like and I was around him, I was in the dugout, like being around that type of person, like just his presence alone is a Hall of Famer.
I'm so glad you said that because if you'd have juiced me up with steroids right now and pulled me against an MLB pitcher, I'm not hitting it out of the infield because
Hey, Andrew.
baseball is so much more than just the power behind the bat. There is so much more technique that comes with it. So absolutely, I'm glad you brought that point
Andrew,
up.
listen, and look, Justin, look, I hear what you're saying. I agree with that. That's a strong take, and I can't argue against that. But Andrew, I have a question for you. If I want to recall a Dinger Dudes episode we recorded last year where it
I
was
know.
centered around the Barry Bonds argument, and you were on my side. What
I
happened?
know. Look,
What
I completely agree with
look, you
and
said it. You said it. It was last year. A lot can change over the last year, and my perspective has completely changed. Absolutely. I
look,
used to
look,
think
look. Look, I
I
don't
used
hate
to,
Barry Bonds, and I don't hate the argument of him being in the Hall of Fame. I just have reasons why I don't think he is. I'm not denying that Barry Bonds was an all-time great. Barry Bonds, his knowledge of the game, and the fact that he was so dominant even pre-steroids, like I give him all respect. I just, I have some different points to it, but look, all respect to Barry Bonds.
Well, we only have 8 minutes left in this episode or in this meeting as of right now, but let's get into the 2010s Dream Team Draft. Justin, do you want to go first? Dream rotation, 5 starters in a snake draft. Just going
Yes,
this.
I'll go first. I'm taking Max Scherzer first.
Okay.
Ooh. All right, Steven.
Absolutely.
Let's go oldest to
Oh
youngest.
God,
Steven,
I'm
you're
next. Oh God.
Let's go
All right.
oldest to youngest.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. There's a lot of decent guys that you can pick from. I mean, Jacob deGrom's a pitcher that comes to mind, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the another Cy Young candidate, also a former teammate of Max Scherzer. I'm going to go Justin Verlander.
Ooh, big.
Okay.
All right, Andrew.
You let the door wide open. Give me Clayton Kershaw, man. Who can forget his triple crown 2011 season? He had a 2.31.
Playoffs, though.
Okay, hold on. He had a 2.31 ERA through 9 years. I don't care what the playoffs did to that guy. Clayton Kershaw to me is the best pitcher in 2010.
Okay, that just means that Mad Bum falls in my lap. I'll take Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, you're going Madison Bumgarner? All right. Well, I'm gonna go with current Atlanta Brave Chris Sale, and now I get back-to-back picks since it is a snake draft. I am going to go with, you know what? I embody this guy as a spirit animal. Give me Zach Greinke.
Dang, that's what I wanted, man. I really want Zach. I really want Zach.
Right,
you know what? Give me a guy. People give Paul Skeens all the credit for being the fastest pitcher to come out of the minor leagues into the majors. We got to remember who did it. Who was before Paul Skeens came to picture. We got to remember who did it before him, and that is Steven Strasburg.
All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna go Jacob deGrom. Give me Jacob deGrom.
Steven?
If that means, then I guess I'm going to go ahead and go with the current Atlanta Brave, Mr. Chris Sale.
Oh, Jackson took him.
Jackson went Chris Sale.
Jackson went Chris Sale.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and let's go. You got David Price off the board yet?
Nope. David Price is on.
I will take
David Price is great. All right, Justin, you get back-to-back picks.
Felix Hernandez.
Felix Hernandez. What a pull.
Oh,
I love it.
His perfect game, dude. That's one of my favorite clips to watch, man.
All right, now he picks again.
Then I'm going CC Sabathia.
That's a great pick. That's a fantastic pick. All right, Steven.
Man is off the board yet. I'm going to go ahead and go John Lester.
Okay.
He is not off the board.
I think this picture I'm about to take is very overlooked, but I'm a huge fan.
Wait, no, it's wait.
No, it's me. It's me.
You're right. You're right.
I'm a huge fan of Corey Kluber, so I'm a snag him while I can.
Cy Young winner during the 2010s. Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
I'm going for your St. Louis Cardinal that I'm surprised you haven't taken yet. Yes, sir, Jackson. He's off the board. Cry about it.
You didn't even say his name.
Oh, sorry.
I don't win right.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was hyping him up.
I'm gonna go with a division rival of the Braves. Let's go with Cole Hamels.
Dang,
I'm gonna go with Cole Hamels.
He's arguably the best left-handed pitcher in the 2010s. Cole Hamels is a beast.
And then I hate going this guy. I'm stuck between two people right now. And I'm gonna go this guy because he did win a Cy Young during the 2010s. Jake Arrieta. I'm gonna go Jake Arrieta. Yeah.
I'm going to go with what they used to call him as old reliable back in the San Francisco Giants' glorious days in the early 2010s. I'm going Madison Bumgarner, baby.
You hear he was drafted.
That was my first pick.
You went Bumgarner first pick? No shot you did.
He drafted Mad Bum.
Did he really? What? Why?
Yeah.
Your first pick? Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Has anyone taken Garrett Cole?
No,
dang
because I passed him up and I realized that.
I'll do Garrett Cole.
Going for him.
All right.
I cannot believe you took Bumgarner. That's crazy.
Well, that's a good first pick. What are you talking about?
Has he been picked?
All right,
Yeah.
Steven.
Then let's go ahead. Let's go. legend. Let's go, you Darvish.
Dadgummit. That's
You
right.
Darvish is great. All right, Justin, you get
I
back to
like it.
back picks for the
I'm
final two picks.
going Cliff Lee.
Mm,
Oh, that was gonna be my next
I'm
pick.
going old school on you guys. Yeah, I'm going.
that was my next pick. I'm not gonna lie. That was my next pick.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
do I go again?
For your final pick, yes.
All right. Well, this one I'm taking Jose Fernandez.
Oh,
Fantastic.
good
Oh,
pick.
fantastic
Good
pick.
pick.
I didn't even have
Oh,
Jose
that
on
was,
my draft board. I can't believe that. That's crazy. Okay.
all right.
Second. I don't like.
Steven.
We're running out of here.
I think I got mine. Wait, hang on. I got
I got
things.
mine. I got
Steven,
mine.
you're up.
I know I am.
I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, I know I am. What can I do here?
Can I steal his pick? I got mine.
Gosh, I'm blanking on his name. It's gonna kill me.
This is rough. I'm trying to like think of a you know what? God, because he had a rough back end of the thing, but it's my last pick, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show him some love because he did have some great years with the Mets. I'm gonna go Noah Syndergaard.
Oh, that's a good pull. I love no Syndergaard.
Okay,
That's a great
now this one's gonna be like kind of slim pickings a little bit because his career
2
ended.
minutes.
His career ended in 2014, but his last 5 years in the majors, I feel like it's worthy to be picked here. And he was a former Atlanta Brave. Give me Tim Hudson. I think Tim Hudson should count.
He counted
I
for
guess so. I
Look,
guess so.
his last 5 years were really good, so I like Tim Hudson.
All right, Chase.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened to Chase, but I think
Hold on. I'll go ask for his pick, and I'll run back and tell you.
Chase, your
Oh, there
pick.
they are.
I'm here. What are you doing? I'm here. Oh, you're back. What are you doing?
Chase, you got the next pick.
Oh, okay. I gotta get quick.
The messenger. Man.
Hang on. I'm thinking.
We're at the final
God,
two
I don't.
picks.
I don't know.
Dude. Oh, I passed up on somebody so much better than Tim Hudson. What am I doing?
No. I'm not going on. Huh? Oh, look, wait. He's already been taken, right?
I don't know.
I
Maybe
took
Tim
I took
Hudson's
Tim
already
Hudson.
been picked. We got
Yeah,
less than
okay.
a minute.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Athletics legend, where he was playing his best baseball, Sonny Gray.
Oh no! And
I like
I'm
it.
gonna go with the final pick. Ooh, I could go Jose Quintana. I could go Gio Gonzalez, but I'm gonna go Justin Nicolino. I'm drafting Justin Nicolino at the 5 spot,
Good
baby.
pull. Good pull.
Good pull.
You win. You win.
Justin, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join this episode. This will be up tomorrow around 7. I'm going to post it as a premiere. But for all of us, we will see y'all next time.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
We appreciate you.